Who's already in here, man? We almost got 50 of y'all already. Double tap that screen if you in here, man. Let's start the stream off on a good note.
Well, it was a lot of work. Do you believe that moment? People say to me, they see a change in you. Do you believe you changed? Is this, for example, increased your faith in God?
Yes.
All these people, the Biden family members, Joe Biden ran and said he would never do preemptive pardons. It was an issue that came up when you were leaving in your first time.
He heard that I was going to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was given the option.
And welcome to Hannity, and buckle up for a very special show. After 4 long years, President Donald Trump is back where he belongs. He is in the Oval Office. Earlier, the president, he did welcome us into the White House for an exclusive first interview in front of the Resolute desk. Mr. President.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk.
All right, and it's sure to be a good interview, guys. Sean Hannity, our new president, Donald Trump. Gonna go over the full thing, break it down, give our full take, analysis, and opinion. Like the video, guys. Let's do it, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Talk about the moment you walked back in this office, this desk, this room, your carpet. How'd you feel?
Well, it was a lot of work. And as you know, I felt that we shouldn't have had to necessarily be here. Could have been done. A lot of work could have been, it would have been over. We wouldn't have inflation. We wouldn't have had the Afghanistan disaster. We wouldn't have October 7th with Israel, where so many people were killed. And you wouldn't have a Ukraine war going on. But with all that being said, I think it's bigger. It's bigger than if it were more traditional.
Only the second time in history.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't have consecutive terms.
Yeah. Well, they say it's historically bigger. I don't know about that. But I can say it showed us a couple of things. It showed us that the radical left, their philosophies and policies are horrible. They don't work. You look at crime, you look at what's gone on at the border, you look at what's going to happen, the crime that's going to happen. But I think we got there just in the nick of time. But we still have you covered better than anybody. We have terrorists in our country by the thousands. We have murderers in our country by the tens of thousands. We have numbers that came out, 11,000 people that murdered are now free and walking around in our country. And of them, I think 48%, they say, killed more than one person, and they're walking around. They came out of jails from other countries. And, people, they've emptied their jails. I would, if I were the president or prime minister or something of another country, I'd empty my jails right into America, into the United States. Why not? And many of them did it. If you look at Venezuela, their crime rate is down now 78%. Because they took their street gangs and they moved them into the United States. And you're seeing that in Colorado and Los Angeles and other places. And we're going to take care of it.
So did Biden really say to you when you came up to the front of the White House, welcome home?
No, did somebody say that?
I read it somewhere.
I don't know. Maybe he did. I really don't know.
So you left him a letter. It was funny with Peter Doocy, and Peter said, "Oh, Mr. President, did Joe Biden leave you a letter?" He did leave you a letter.
He did.
And you had left him one, but you've never disclosed either one of them.
Well, a lot of people.
Now would be a great time.
You know, it was interesting. A lot of people thought it was sort of like a setup with Peter Doocy and myself, and I have a lot of respect for Peter. But he just asked me a question about the letter. And then I remember that, it's like a custom. You leave it right in the drawer of that beautiful desk right alongside of us. And so I opened it up, and I actually gave the letter to Peter.
And did he got to read it?
I guess. I haven't.
You don't know if he read it?
Yeah, I just sent it to him a little while ago.
All right. Before we get into, there's so much substance. You are inheriting a lot of problems, a lot of things that actually scare me. And I want to get to all of that, but I will get to all of that.
All solvable problems.
I agree.
They're all solvable.
Not easy.
With time, effort, money, unfortunately, but they're all solvable problems. We can get our country back. But if we didn't win this race, I really believe our country would have been lost forever.
Were there moments, when you think...
Emphasis on the money, unfortunately, spent to solve these issues. We got some costly issues at hand, whether it be our involvement with NATO and Ukraine. We got the ceasefire pushed through in Israel. We're still loosely involved there. But the major issue at hand is the border issue and the expected cost to deport these immigrants, these mass deportation that Tom Homan and Trump are going to be installing. So that is the major implication. That is what we all need to be watching, because that is what economists are saying is going to be very costly for taxpayers and American citizens alike. But yeah, we've talked about it here on the channel. It is kind of like political gaslighting, them telling us how much this issue that they caused is going to be the fix. Hilarious.
Think of what they threw at you. And I know you signed this declaration about no more weaponization. And we know that the preemptive pardons came up on Joe's way out, but you were facing a civil trial, a criminal trial, conviction, sentencing, Jack Smith, DC, Florida, Fonnie Willis. I mean, you fought through all of that to get back right here in this office. What people don't know is over there's a little red button you push. You scare people. People think it's the nuclear button, but it's really,
something else.
It's you use it for a different purpose. But the question I have was, at any point, did you doubt you would be back here?
So it's a great question. It's something I don't think about. I never really thought about it. I don't think about, gee, will I be back? I just do it. I get it done. I get things done. I'm good at getting things done, and I set my mind to it. As you know, we had a great election in 2016. I had a much better election in 2020. And if I didn't have that election, I wouldn't have run. If I thought that I didn't get the number of votes, and it was reported that I got almost 75 million votes, and that was their numbers. That wasn't the numbers. That was their numbers. That was more than anybody has gotten in history. Any sitting president had ever.
A lot of speculation about that 2020 election. Trump remains firm in the fact that he won the popular vote in 2016. Or I'm sorry, in 2020. He won the electoral in 2016 to beat out Hillary. Won the electoral in 2016, won the popular in 2020, and again won the popular vote in 2024. Again, a lot of speculation surrounding that election in 2020, but Trump pretty much his unwavering belief is that he won that mug.
Ever gotten, and you lost. Had I gotten like 50 million, or 40 million, or 60 million, I would never have run. But that was like a poll. So, but I had a different attitude. Too big to rig.
Poll came out just in the last 24 hours by Insider Advantage. That's Matt Towery. He nailed 2016, 2020, and 2024. Great pollster, as you know.
Right.
And he gave you a 56% approval rating. He also said of Congress, and I had a town hall with members of Congress last night, that 70% of respondents want Congress to unite behind your agenda.
I watched that show. It was a great show. And you had some great people in the background. Yeah. I know every one of them. And they're really patriots. I just saw the love, as the speaker, who was doing a terrific job. The speaker is answering questions, and I saw the acknowledgement and the love they had. And those are tough people behind him. These are not easy people.
There are others that are tougher.
I said, well, I don't know. This is a tough group if they want to be. They're not, nobody much tougher. But they're very unified. I think they're going to do a great job.
But they have a small majority. You went through over 200 since we've got here. And we have breaking news today that we'll get to in a minute. And especially as it relates to the border and some other issues. But you're going to need to do some of these things legislatively. How you will probably.
And I see somebody in the chat saying, well, Biden won 2020, but he wasn't able to swing 2024. Like, bro, the threads of his mental acuity were literally coming apart from the seams in the spotlight for everybody to see. They couldn't hold that together any longer. They could not hold that together any longer. They did a good job of hiding it for the better part of the last year or so. But as far as heading into the campaign season this year, they literally had to stiff arm him out the way. Insert Kamala, who couldn't beat Trump either. She wasn't that much better of a replacement.
probably play the largest role in uniting them both in the House and Senate. Reconciliation, the Senate has very strict, rules governing how they can do it. Do you, one big beautiful bill, two bills, do you care at this point?
I don't care as long as we get to the final answer. I like the concept of the one bill. I guess I said one big beautiful, and that's what everyone faces. Actually, it's sort of a nice sound to it. But I do like that concept. It could be something else. It could be a smaller bill and a big bill. Right. But as long as we get to the right answer. Now, I will say that Los Angeles has changed everything because a lot of money is going to be necessary for Los Angeles. And a lot of people on the other side want that to happen. And
North Carolina, too.
Fast. Well, they don't care about North Carolina. The Democrats don't care about North Carolina. What they've done with FEMA is so bad. FEMA is a whole other discussion because all it does is complicate everything. FEMA has not done their job for the last 4 years.
Another bureaucratic agency. And the debate here is that FEMA was purposely ignoring relief for certain red states, red cities, red districts. That's what Trump is alluding to here. Now, the LA fire situation is a completely different situation. I've got an LA fire update, actually, because it's still burning, raging throughout the greater LA area. New areas now been inflamed. We're going to go over that shortly, guys. I'll bring that up right after this. But crazy things going on. Crazy things.
You know, I had FEMA working really well. We had hurricanes in Florida. We had Alabama tornadoes. But unless you have certain types of leadership, it gets in the way. And FEMA is going to be a whole big discussion very shortly because I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems. If they have a tornado someplace and if they let that state, Oklahoma is very competent. I love Oklahoma. 77 out of 77 districts. And that's never been done before. I did it 3 times. I mean, think of it. 3 times. Never been done. Ronald Reagan had the record, 56 out of 77. I got 77 out of 77. So you have to love a place like that. I love Oklahoma. But you know what? If they get hit with a tornado or something, let Oklahoma fix it. You don't need. And then the federal government can help them out with the money. The FEMA is getting in the way of everything. And the Democrats actually.
Seems like he's alluding to the fact that once a natural disaster takes place, FEMA comes in and overrides local jurisdiction and they completely control relief, any type of funding or what is prioritized in cleanup efforts. And that can actually be a very dangerous situation because, again, we have reports that FEMA purposely ignored Republican affiliated cities, counties, and districts. So I like what Trump says there in a case like Oklahoma. Let them fix it. Let the state address the situation. If they need money, the federal government will step in and provide that. But when FEMA comes in, it kind of complicates the situation because now you got FEMA pretty much doing what they want to do.
So use FEMA not to help North Carolina.
It makes no sense.
So I'm stopping on Friday. I'm stopping in North Carolina. First stop. Yeah. Because those people were treated very badly by Democrats. And I'm stopping there. We're going to get that thing straightened out because they're still suffering from a hurricane from months ago. And then I'm going to go to California.
Will you meet with Gavin?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. Look, Gavin's got one thing he can do. He can release the water that comes from the north. There is massive amounts of water, rainwater and mountain water that comes due with the snow, comes down as it melts. There's so much water, they're releasing it into the Pacific Ocean. And I told him it's a political thing for the Democrats.
I played the tape. You said it to him in front of him in 2018.
I said it to him in front of the media and everything else, and nobody talks about it. The media never picks it up. You put it out. I was so happy to see that tape because some people said, is that possible? They have water coming down from the Pacific Northwest. Just a lot of water.
Which is insane if you truly think about it, because they had a chance not only to solve this issue, but for this issue to never have spread so far. Now, you know, I see a lot of different takes about the fires in the greater LA area. Some people think that they've only affected affluent people and they'll be able to buy their homes and possessions back. But guys, this is spread to affect some disenfranchised communities, some lower income communities now. So the fact that this issue could have been solved, circumvented, maybe never even got this bad if we had some hands-on leadership in California, if it wasn't Gavin Newsom and the negligence that's caused the whole situation, a lot of people maybe wouldn't have lost their lives. There's been casualties, and a lot of people wouldn't have lost their livelihoods. It's kind of crazy to think that if you had better management of the situation, it really wouldn't have gotten this bad.
Much water that they'd have to let some of it go at some point. They don't need reservoirs. They don't need any. They're spending all this money on these reservoirs, and they're fake reservoirs.
But the reservoirs were empty. The hydrants didn't work, and they're not practicing the science of forestry, which is
sprinklers didn't work in the homes because they had no water. Think of it. We have sprinklers. Think of it with no water. They didn't have any water. The fire hydrants, believe it, hard to believe. The place has sprinklers. It's nice. But you don't want to lose this office. By the way, how do you like it?
I'm glad. It's great to be back. I'm not going to lie.
I've had the biggest people in the world come here, and they come into the Oval Office, and they just look, and they want time to look. They're looking around. George Washington, Honest Abe.
One day, maybe we can do a tour. We had a conversation, and maybe I shouldn't disclose this, but I will. And it was after the 2020 election. And you asked me a question, and we've known each other for 30 years, so we have a friendship and we have a professional relationship. And the question you asked me, maybe in the end it will be better that if I came back in 4 years. And we talked about history. After World War II, Winston Churchill was thrown out, but they brought him back. Grover Cleveland is the only other American president that did not serve consecutive terms. And my answer to you was, I thought it would be bigger if you came back.
It's turning out to be bigger. And I think one thing is happening is people are learning that they can't govern and that their policies are terrible. I mean, they don't want to see a woman get pummeled by a man in a boxing ring.
No.
They don't want to see men in women's sports and otherwise. They don't want to see them, and they don't want to have transgender for everyone. They don't want a child leave home as a boy and come back 2 days later as a girl. A parent doesn't want to see that. And there are states where that can happen.
Oh. They
don't want to see taxes go through the roof. Like, this is the only group of people they want to raise your they say we want to raise your taxes. If they don't work with us on the Trump tax cuts extending, that would mean it would go back to the taxes.
And guys, we appreciate the support. We got almost 500 of y'all in here so far, man. We just getting started on tonight's stream. We're going to go over this Trump and Sean Hannity. Of course, we got some more videos to follow up, some funny, some informative. We're going to keep it fun tonight, guys. Go ahead and double tap that screen. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, man. Sankey Media, we're live nightly. You could also hit the 3 buttons in the upper right-hand corner, show your support. Drop a like, is free. Also, you can super chat into the stream. Thoughts, questions, comments, jokes, anything you want to get off your chest. Video suggestions as well can be shared. Just super chat into the stream. We'll give you a shout out for supporting, and we'll grant your request, man. We appreciate the support.
The largest tax cut in history. That would mean the taxes would go up more than any tax hike in the history of our country. And normally you'd say that's got to be the easiest negotiation in history, because if they did that, how could they ever win an election? But they'll fight us on that. They fight us on things. It's incredible.
They
don't use common sense. In my opinion, the Democrats don't use common sense.
And common sense won the day in the election.
Yeah, but the amazing thing, I'm watching now. Now it's time, and a few months have passed, and the election's over, and you see what happened, and it was a rout. I won all 7 swing states, and we won by millions of votes, the popular vote, millions. And nobody can even believe some of the numbers. And how about with African Americans, with Hispanics, with everything, how well we did? Nobody can believe the numbers. How about with...
I'll continue that thought for him. African Americans, Hispanic, women. These are all the demographics that have a supposed reason to hate Trump, not to like him. He's a bigot. He's a racist. He's a sexist. Yeah, African Americans, Hispanic, women, and the youth. The unintelligible youth. The youth that's not politically engaged. The youth that doesn't give a shit about politics, right? All these demographics, these are the demographics ultimately that pushed Trump over the edge and what got him the win. Overwhelming win, blowout dub. Yeah. All the people that are supposed to hate him showed up and showed out. Man, this man even had the Amish, a community that overwhelmingly never shows up for the polls. Never shows up for the polls. It's damn near part of their belief not to vote. He had the Amish showing up in droves voting for him. God damn it.
Youth. I won youth by 36 points. Now, maybe that's because I went on TikTok. I don't know. But I'm starting to have a very warm
TikTok is going to be sold, right?
I think TikTok's
well,
maybe
people like
I'll tell you, people want to buy it. People want to buy it.
But those that say they know say it's a spying app for the communist Chinese.
But but you can say that about everything made in China. Look, we have our telephones made in China for the most part. We have so many things made in China. So why don't they mention that? You know, the interesting thing with TikTok, though, is you're dealing with a lot of young people. So
they love it.
Is it that important for China to be spying on young people, on young kids watching crazy videos on things?
I don't want China spying on anybody.
No, but they make your telephones and they make your computers and they make a lot of other things. Isn't that a bigger thing?
And they made TikTok and its algorithm. So isn't it reasonable to suspect that there might be an inherent danger with that? You know, shouldn't it be worth looking into having ByteDance, which is the ownership group of TikTok, divest and potentially split that ownership with an American company? I always say deal with the evil you know. Everybody wants to mine our data. Our metadata is ever important. You know, you can monetize it. I get it. I'm no fool when it comes to that. But I say deal with the evil you know. I have no problem giving that information up to our social media companies. Meta, okay, it is what it is, right? Everybody has access to it. But when you come and tell me that a foreign country like China and a foreign agency like ByteDance has access to that technology, I don't know. Something about that just makes me uncomfortable. If that's going to help the Chinese government in any type of way, even if it's incremental, even if it's so small, a minute percentage, even if it's going to help them 1%, something about that as an American citizen, it just don't sit right with me.
Is that right?
I'm sure that'll be part of your discussions with President Xi, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Let me go to the border. We do have breaking news today. I ran into Tom Homan as I was walking in today. Right. And so far, 308 total arrests, 296 detainees, and the first deployment of military assets to the U.S. border. The deployment includes active duty troops in the National Guard.
Right.
And here's my biggest fear and concern beyond the Iranian assassination squads is we now know 14 million. We don't know how many gotaways. We don't know the total number. But we have known terrorists in our country. Mm-hmm. We have known murderers, rapists. We have violent criminals, cartel members, gang members. Now, I would imagine if you came from Iran and Syria and Egypt and Afghanistan and Russia and China and Venezuela, you didn't come here because you want a better life for your children. I would imagine those known terrorists are planning an attack on our homeland. At a moment's notice, you're going to be in this desk, maybe sitting at this desk.
All right. Shout out Bubba Gum Gun. $2 when your gang starts throwing gang signs. All right. Not entirely sure what that means, but appreciate the support, my man.
Or maybe up in the residence, and they're going to call you down in the Situation Room because our homeland is under attack.
Or my girl. I'm not sure which one, but yeah. Thank you for supporting.
I would like to be wrong. But when you have known terrorists, you have to believe that they are going to attack our homeland. Mm-hmm. That would change their trajectory, that moment of your entire presidency.
Hey, and shout out to Phil coming in with, I think that's $5 New Zealand. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's $5 New Zealand. Shout out to other Phil, man. One of the mods, one of the members. Good to see you, bro. And hopefully you've been doing all right.
Has to weigh on you.
Yeah, it could be. And I know I've watched you for a lot of years. And you actually make one statement before you say that. You say 100% certain.
I do.
That's a pretty big statement.
And then I say, I pray to God I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too. And I won't comment, but I tend to agree with you. It depends. We'll see what happens. Look, we have a lot of great people right now, a lot of great people on this situation. This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in. And I believe the number is 21 million people, and a large percentage of them are criminals all over the world. This is not just South America. This isn't, we talk Venezuela, that's a big abuser, but these are countries from
Iran,
the
Syria?
Congo, countries that you don't even think of. The Congo has emptied their prisons out into the United States. We're not thinking about the Congo. We're thinking about South America. It's much more than South America. But prisons from all over the world have been emptied out into our country by Biden, allowing it to happen. I don't even know if he knew what the hell was going on, but who would want this? I always say to people, you always like to understand, like in a business here, you want to understand the other side. Why do they want something, et cetera, and you figure it out. And there's usually an answer, almost always. I don't understand, why does somebody want open borders and they say the vote. Okay, but I did well with the Hispanic vote. If you're looking at Hispanic, they say they do it because they want to think they're going to stay in power. It's going to be better for Democrats. I don't really believe that. Besides that, they cheat so much. They don't have to do that. They cheat so well. They're very good at cheating. The only thing they're good at really is cheating. But here's the thing I ask.
Yes, man. You got to, bro, Trump speaking in hyperbole is like it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. I'm the biggest. I'm the best. They're literally the worst. They're cheaters. They're the most corrupt. It is almost so funny. He has a way of speaking that is just entertaining, I swear. But shout out Fox Chase 93. Key, when you get a minute, I put a short video in Discord. The video short section to play. Okay, no problem, bro. I'll bring it up.
Why would somebody say that open borders are good? Where jails and mental...
No, the hyperbole this man speaks in is hilarious. Beyond entertaining.
Other countries, and say that open borders are good, where jails and mental institutions from other countries and gang members right off the streets of the toughest cities in the world are being brought to the United States of America and emptied out into our country. Why would anybody that even likes, you don't have to love our country, you have to like it. Why would anybody that likes our country, the Democrats, allow that to happen? And even now, I watch them on television, they're trying to justify it. You can't justify it. The only reason it can be is two reasons. You're stupid, and I don't think they're stupid. I think anybody that cheats that much and that well is not stupid. You're either stupid or you hate the country. Those are the only two reasons. Sean, who would ask for open borders with people pouring in, some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble, could be trouble. There are people coming in.
There are people with gang tattoos on.
There are people coming.
I'll never forget the clip. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up on X, perhaps, for those of you who haven't seen it. Eerie-ass clip of a journalist at the southern border interviewing migrants as they came over. I think they might have been, it might have been before they crossed over or right after they crossed over. He's interviewing one guy and he says like, oh, who are you? Where are you from? He's like, oh, don't worry. You'll know who I am. You'll know who I am. Y'all will all know my name. I was just like, it was eerie. It was like telling, like, hold on, what do you mean by that? Like, yeah, like, what are you talking about, fella? Like, who are you? Crazy. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. It was a eerie ass clip.
In with tattoos all over their face. Their entire face is covered with tattoos.
That identifies.
Typically, you know he's not going to be the head of the local bank.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews.
All right, shout out. Let's go ahead and transition into the next video. Fox Chase, I didn't forget about you. I'll work your video in here. Let's move right into, okay, cool. We got a video compilation here, another little video of people losing their shit after Trump won the other day. Some liberals crashing out, lefties losing it.